human has rights. What does it mean? It means simply that rights belong to people, not governments. That the Universal Declaration of Human Rights gave a birthright to every child born into the world. Article 1 says, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Dignity actually coming before rights, which is very important. And it also says under Article 29, the second last article, everyone has duties to the community, without which you don't reach your full personality. You yourself don't become as full a person if you don't know that you have duties to the community. So it's not a liberal Western agenda. It's a universal agenda, the agenda of human rights.
One of my closest friends, who just so happens to be Congolese, was not only in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he was the wrong shade of brown. He was from the wrong country. He spoke the wrong language. He was beaten so viciously that I could not recognize him. His little sister of 6 years old was raped and burnt with hot water. They were then forced to watch their neighbor, someone they love, someone they know, burn to death, burn alive. Do these people actually have rights? I don't think so, because their rights are not seen to. Given these realities, it is easier for us to get overwhelmed. But I don't understand who decides who has rights. I fear that we will inherit this fractured, unequal, and unjust world that the generations before us have created. And I call on our leaders to hear our voice, hear our cries, and our call to build a fair world for our future and future generations. So I'm holding myself accountable, and I won't keep silent. Thank you.
The rich countries who have promised they will keep their share of the bargain, to give more aid, to cancel debts, and to have trade justice, are not keeping their promise. We are always told by the rich countries, and yesterday the European Union leaders met to reaffirm their commitments. Do we need more reaffirmations? Yeah. Do we need more promises? Do we need false promises? We are always told the check is in the post. Now there must be something drastically wrong with this postal system. The postman is never coming.
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
When I say justice.
My real concern about the food crisis is that it's not a short-term problem. It's going to be aggravated by all the effects and impacts of what we call climate change. And we may see hundreds of millions of climate change refugees over the coming years. So we have a band of time, maybe 20 years, in which to really change a great deal and make it fairer, make it more local, and affirm the possibilities of people of being able to pull themselves out of poverty by being able to influence their environment around them, grow their food locally, shop locally, have anybody who's working in their environment understanding that they must be respected and their rights must be vindicated, rights to food and safe water, sanitation, health, education. It's a big, big task because we are looking at quite a grim situation with the population increase. It's going to be in the poorest parts of the world. Another potentially 3 billion people added to the population of the world. And young people need a hope of taking part in their society, not to be jobless and marginalised. And that's why having a whole range of people gather together under every human has rights, energises me. So, thank you.
think today we are not going to address the humongous challenges this planet faces if we do not break out of our silos. We need to get organizations in the NGO community to be less brand focused, to be less quite frankly, big international NGOs and so on, if they want to be successful, they should have a 50-year closure strategy. They should say that we want to work ourselves out of business, not looking at perpetuating themselves forever. Also, we need to ensure that trade unions, NGOs and religious organizations, all part of civil society, can find common ground and work better together. Unless we get people to focus on the larger number of things that unite them and agree to respectfully disagree on the fewer number of things where they have differences, we're not going to move things forward. So, for example, we live in a world today where there's far too much fragmentation around too many fault lines: north, south, religion, race, class, caste, and so on. And our biggest challenge moving forward is finding out ways in which we can break those boundaries. Unless we do that, I believe we are quite stuck. I was brought up in the Hindu tradition, and when I used to go home, I would ask my mom, which is the best religion in the world? And my mom said to me, there's a silly question, all religions are the same. How you must live your life is you must see God in the eyes of every human being that you meet. And if you do that, you'll be a good Hindu, a good Christian, a good Jew, a good Muslim, if you can just respect every human being that you meet, and you look for the weaknesses in yourself, and you look for the strengths in others.